that will not yield as much faster results as if the similar kind of a measure would have taken in a complete airshed.
Across India's border, its neighbour has seen success with the airshed approach. In 2013, China tackled its toxic air with its Air Pollution Action Plan. It coordinated efforts nationwide, closing old coal plants and transitioning to natural gas or renewables. It shut down or moved polluting industries and undertook large-scale reforestation programs. So between 2013 and 2022, particulate pollution in China was reduced by over 40%. Can India achieve the same?
In fact, if you see the original National Clean Air Program targets, which were the 20 to 35% reduction of air pollution, that was actually taken from the blueprint of what Beijing was able to do, what Seoul was able to do. What Beijing was able to do, for example, was to have an extremely stringent mechanism of enforcement. They were very clear on what we are measuring, how we are measuring it, how do we want to reduce it, who's going to enforce it. We lack across all those steps.
We as a scientist can always say that these are the airshed, this is the way, this is the solution. But how it gets into the implementation and management, this is leaving to the executives.
Perhaps what is missing is the political push from the people. After all, during India's general election in mid-2024, the campaigns centered around issues like unemployment, cost of living, welfare, and religion. Pollution hardly featured.
We still need a democratic demand for clean air. And I think this goes back to the core of the issue here, that we as citizens haven't internalized. Bad air is not something that you become immune to. This is not a virus that you're building up some immunity against. This is a toxin.
By January, life seems to have returned to normal in Delhi. Though the air quality remained between 200 to 400, poor to very poor, many were out and about without masks.
I'm not wearing a mask because I find it a little inconvenient, and I've got probably used to the pollution, and when I leave the house it doesn't strike me. Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Pollution तो concerning है, मतलब concerning तो ये बहुत है, लेकिन वही है काफ़ी सारे लोगों को नहीं पता है, तो इसकी वजह से ये एक बड़ा इशू नहीं बन पाता है। और जिस देश में रोटी, कपड़ा, मकान इस जैसे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो पा रहे, तो देश के लोग पोल्यूशन के बारे में तो बाद में सोचेंगे ना, वो वाली बात है।
People right now are not able to understand the consequences of poor quality air. Citizens feel that it's only a short-term problem, not a long-term problem, and that's why I'm highlighting the fact that we need to look at it as a long-term problem.
I don't think political will is a variable or a constant that emerges out of nowhere. The day we recognize that in the world's fastest growing major economy, air pollution is holding us back from growing faster, is when we will realize that investing in clean air is one of the best investments we can make for our economic development.
By the 6th of February, Delhi's air quality improved to 180. Schools have reopened and most or all restrictions lifted. As the pollution dissipates, will this winter's bad air be the impetus for change? Or will it be forgotten until it returns at the end of 2025?
This obviously has attracted attention of all policymakers and implementers. So the initial momentum has been actually overcome. Now things have actually on the move.
I'm a die-hard optimist, and I have no reason to believe that India will not be able to build the clean pathways in the future.
As the knowledge are increasing, more combination, more harmonization, interaction of a scientific fraternity with policymakers to the implementers, I see that down the line, at least in a decade, we should be able to see our cities are getting cleaner, mortality, morbidity are declining.
When I'm talking to you, who's coming in front of my eyes? It is my grandson who's just 3 months old. That what kind of future I'm giving to Puppy? Because we need to give a good future to our children. And we have to do something about our environment. Whether it is a joint responsibility of me, you, the policymakers, the media, everybody. It was once built as a living paradise.
That's a combination of tourism, leisure, healthcare, education, low carbon city.
Malaysia's forest city could now be stuck in development hell.
A lot of media has called this field mega ghost town city.
Will plans to rejuvenate the mega project succeed?
The government can't just leave this huge area there to rot and to crumble.
Forest City, reviving Malaysia's ghost town. Insight, Thursday on CNA.
这个叫做显磁片，它只对磁场会产生感应。
Depending on your smartphone model, you can have 2 to 5 magnets per speaker. The autofocus on your camera, 2 to 4 magnets. Adding up the magnets for your microphone, the vibration motor, your phone could have up to 14 magnets. Several estimates say Chinese factories now make more than 80% or even over 90% of high-strength rare earth magnets used in the world.
能轻松吸起3罐可乐的珠宝小磁扣，你见过吗？
This is Yoki Shi. She's an insider of the Chinese rare earths industry and has worked closely with partners along the entire supply chain from mine to magnet. She has offered the rare chance of seeing exactly how magnets end up in my pocket. In my iPhone, of course. Dahua Magnet specializes in producing tiny magnets suitable for speakers, microphones, and other small components that fit into portable electronics, such as mobile phones or earbuds.
那这个车间呢，就是磁铁的第一道生产工序，这里面全部是原材料。这个呢，就叫做纯铁。它大概占到60%到70%的一个比例。那这个材料呢是铝铁硼的第2种元素，那它叫做硼铁，就是这一种，它在里面大概占到1%的比例。虽然硼铁和纯铁在里面的重量占比很高，但是它在里面的价值比是不高的，只占到30%到40%。在整个原材料里面最贵的还是这个元素，那就是叫做硼铝，稀土的硼铝 PrNd。所以只有把铝、铁、硼3种重要的元素合成在一起的时候，它才能够产生一个非常巨大的磁性。这个磁性就是被我们很多人称之为叫做磁王，它是世界上目前为止已知的磁性最强的材料。配好料之后呢，我们要放在烧结车间里面去把它做成毛坯。第2步就是去进行机加工，把它切成各种各样的形状，用罗拉线慢慢的去割它。那最终呢，这些产品还会放到成品检验车间里面。这个车间里面，他们在检查外观。那这些产品呢，就是还没有冲磁的磁铁。磁铁在没有冲磁之前是没有磁性的。我要让你看到怎么样能够把没有磁的东西变成有磁性，你想不想体验一下
Let's do this.
你看，现在这个是没有磁性的。我们需要把它放在这个里面，把它盖起来。对，我们用这台机器进行冲磁。放在正中间，对，然后2只手同时按这2个按 ，Let's go。我们要等一下啊 ，OK， 然后可以把它拿出来，对，然后放在这个里面，对，把它打开，你看，它就是全部已经冲好磁了。
Right. Just in case you missed it, earlier on these were just little bits of metal, but after putting it into the machine, now it's all magnetized. Just like that, this factory can churn out over 1,000 tons of rare earth magnets a year in a huge variety of bespoke shapes, which are then transported downstream to manufacturers. Because of the ready supply of such components, many electronic makers, be it for foreign or domestic brands, have located their manufacturing plants in Guangdong province. So what actually means China is probably a mobile phone or a pair of earbuds you pick up at your store that's made in China.
For every dazzling moment, freely transform your style. Elegant designs, perfectly matched. Perfect Match Collection. For every moment, real touch, only natural diamonds. With international grading certificate. For every moment, Mason Jewelry.
This is Singapore Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jill Newbronner here are tonight's top stories. A total defense resilience program that led to multiple cases of food poisoning now suspended. Experts say slip-ups in transportation or storage could be to blame. At Changi Airport to improve workplace facilities for airside workers with better rest areas and more food options. Part of moves to address challenges like heat stress and rising passenger volumes. The National Development Minister stresses that the nation's public housing policies must keep pace as society evolves. This is to keep housing affordable and accessible even in central areas. And the need for a simpler process to access funding and training. That's what smaller companies are calling for, even as they welcome extended support in this year's budget. Indonesia goes dark, the rallying cry for thousands of students demanding answers from a government they accuse of cutting budgets to fund favoured projects. And Chinese nationals on their way home after rescue from scam centres on the Thai-Myanmar border. The first batch of repatriation with hundreds more due to return via Thailand. The National Food Resilience Exercise has been paused after 20 students from the School of the Arts developed food poisoning. The ready-to-eat meals were part of a total defense drill and distributed to schools island-wide. As of Thursday, authorities and caterers SATS say the issue remains isolated to SOTA. And as Sherlyn Xia reports, experts are pointing to possible lapses in transportation or storage.
From porridge to curry and pasta, these ready-to-eat meals were meant